Hello, everybody, and welcome to this segment of our new podcast. We are so excited. Today, I'm going to be having a conversation based on equality and all things around activism with my very special guest, Lauren Cullen. Thank you so much for joining us. Introduce yourself.
Cool. Thank you so much for having me. I love the work that Trulife is doing, and it really is a privilege to be here. But my name is Lauren Cullen, and I am a counsellor. I am focusing on trauma counselling at the moment, and I've also had many years experience working in the field in the area of anti-human trafficking and working with restoration programs. So equality is something that is close to my heart.
Yeah. Awesome. I'm so excited to dive into some of these questions and just have a raw, honest conversation.
Awesome. Me too.
Awesome. So let's begin speaking about this whole idea. There's this quote that speaks about women being more than just products. And I would love to hear from you in your line of work and in your experience. How have you seen culture creating this myth that women are just products?
Yeah. And it's such a sad reality that is the belief system that the world has currently. You know, you're looking at the human trafficking situation right now, where it is the fastest growing criminal industry. It is the second largest industry right now. And for modern day slavery, like, how is that still a topic that we are having to address in today's society? But it is being permeated in every sphere, I think, of this young generation, where what they are listening to, what they are watching on social media, the space of being seen as a product, where it's something being over-sexualized, that my body is just something that I give, and this reselling of people in terms of human trafficking. And so really we've got to see it for what it is, that from young, that this belief system in our girls, that their worth or their value is tied up in how they look and what they can give in terms of being sexualized. You know, you look at the pornography industry, which is fueling the trafficking industry. And in terms of what, music videos, you're looking at how from young, what girls are perceiving in terms of how they need to, what they need to be giving off, and which is really a sad reality, in our homes. You look at the violence, the abuse that is taking place. The stats are showing it's not just random people. It's starting with people within our homes, are using and abusing. And so it's that space of they are witnessing and viewing, and there's this belief system that is just my worth, that I am just something to be sold or just a product to be used. That they're, and that's got to change.
Yeah, and it's crazy to even think about how, as a woman, we can so often become focused on, like, what can I offer? We constantly feel like we need to have something to prove, or what can I offer a situation or a person? And I think that also goes back to that belief that we are a product and that we need to be able to bring something to the table or offer. And there's like this exchange that we feel that we need to be a part of. And like you're saying, it starts from young, and that idea is just wild.
I mean, one of the main areas within the counseling sessions, this belief that we've got to work through and change, is the space of not feeling good enough, not believing that they are good enough. And so where are they getting that idea? What is being classed as good enough? And we are seeing it in every sphere, that it is that space of, well, I am good enough if I am offering this, or, my worth or my value is being compared to in that space. And that's where we've got to shift that culture right from young. And it starts, it's a multi-layered space.
So while we're on the topic of, women feeling like they need to prove themselves and, thinking about what they need to offer and bring to situations and people, there's this whole idea that we're seeing in society where I feel like some women have a a false sense of equality, and where we're almost buying into and owning this whole thing of being a product and being proud of being a product. And it's really sad to see. And I would just love to hear what you think, and how do you see women in the world today? And what are some of the strengths and the values that you wish that women would, just own more?
Awesome. Great question. So I think first we're going to look at, what does that space of equality for women look like? And I think often we think it's like we've got to kind of be the same or kind of match up in terms of like manhood and, but the space of actually equality doesn't mean that we are all the same, but there's this uniqueness as womanhood that we need to identify and embrace, of going, what are our unique strengths and values as a woman that we've been designed as to bring and offer to this world, And so it's a space of, I look at kind of generationally, and just inspired and in awe of those who've gone before as women. There's this high capacity, high functioning, where it's women are mothers and working in the world, and this space of, there's a huge mental load that they're having to carry, and so it's a space of not underestimating themselves and what they can bring, and the capacity that they have. I think as women, there's this natural space of understanding our emotions. Maybe we don't fully understand our emotions all the time, but the space of embracing our emotions. I think this world is almost trying to kind of suppress and not look at it. And so from a counselor, that is one of my main roles, of actually going, we need to embrace and understand what is healthy ways of this emotional intelligence that we can actually serve and bring into our communities and into the spheres of our influence that we have, and teaching that, into our younger generations. The space of empathy and compassion. And I think women are great networkers, and, the space of leadership, and sewing into that space of using those strengths and values of, hey, like, we're all in this, together, let's come on board, and we're fighting these, these areas and these issues together. We're raising these, our voices are being found, and the space of, we are not staying silent, that you see movements take place. Majority of the time, you're looking at women at the front line, who are passionate about wanting to see change take place. And so leaning into those spaces, I think, there is such strength. We've got to really look at what does strength look like from a woman's perspective. I think, again, it's been trying to match from a, physical strength, or, we try and match it from a man's perspective, but actually, what does that inner strength look like? That resilience, we are facing so much. There's been so much coming against us, but yet the space of, we keep pushing forward. We never give up. And so I think from young women and young girls embracing that, of knowing, okay, what is my unique kind of strengths and values and that inner strength? I mean, you even look from a monthly perspective, a woman had to go through and deal with, and we show up, and it's painful and it's hard. We have to go through, but it's that sense of, we face so much, but yet we are resilient, and it builds our capacity. You look at motherhood, and like how, like that in of itself, you're doing a million jobs in one. And so, it's, I think there's so many aspects of strength and values that women have got to embrace, how we've been naturally designed. And embracing that.
Yes, that's amazing. I love what you're saying about, we have so many natural, strengths that we've been given, and to not shy away from that. Those things, sometimes we think they can make us weak, or we can make us less than, even our emotions, or motherhood, but leaning into those as strengths, and actually our differences and how we've been designed different to men, we can use that as our superpower, and that doesn't make us less than. It is our strength as well. That's amazing. I think to kind of wrap up this conversation around women and equality, we recently visited a school, and we did this activity with these young grade 7 girls, and we asked them to write down what they thought equality meant to them. And one of the learners, this was her answer. She said, equality means to treat people equally, whether you're different from each other, as in race, religion, or beliefs. We are all equal, but different in our own way. And I think that's just amazing. And it ties into what we were just speaking about, embracing those differences. What did this answer mean to you? Like, what stands out to you about this answer?
I love hearing that. For me, it just speaks of such hope for the future, and just such encouragement that we can see. And I mean, it speaks to the work that Trulife is doing into the schools, that from young, that there is a changing of mindsets and beliefs around women's worth and value, that from young that they can see, not just know it, but they are embracing it and believing it within themselves, that, hey, like, I know my worth, I know my value, I've got something to give, everyone is different, and we can embrace those differences, and that we are equal, and not comparing themselves, but the space of knowing who they are and then going for it, so that when challenges or spaces arise, that they will not be persuaded, that they will not conform, that they will not bow down to kind of the voices that are coming against that from young there is this internal belief system, knowing my worth, knowing my equality, knowing my value, and that then permeates generationally, and so I'm excited to hear that within our young girls today.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for being with us today, Lauren. We really love the work you were doing. You were doing a fantastic job, and we really appreciate your insight and just being with us today. I know it certainly helped me having this conversation, and we hope that it also was insightful to you and helped you, and that you can take something away from this discussion today. Thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you again next time.